So hey guys, and welcome to my channel. So I have been debating making this video for about 2-3 days now, and the reason for that is because, well, I am seeing a lot of people cover Chris Hansen now. So, does the internet really need another video on Chris Hansen? So the reason why I decided to make this video is because I saw something on Twitter and oh my god, it pissed me off. I don't think I've ever been that angry on Twitter, ever. So Ashlee Lillie, the survivor of Derby Vanity, says right here, "My heart is breaking right now. I'm going through the DMs the 16-year-old sent me earlier this year, before we had an agent, when we just had Chris to rely on, and his word that he has connections to the FBI. This girl was so sad. She sent me screen caps of Derby calling her 30 times a day. She cried to me on FaceTime as we tried to scheme ourselves how to catch Derby in the act because Chris kept telling me he'd get back to me, that he knew someone, that he'd let me know the next day and the next, until weeks went by and Derby caught on and blocked her before we could document evidence of him asking her for sexual favors. As creepy as it is, 30 plus missed calls a day from 36-year-old man to a 16-year-old girl and asking her to send random photos throughout the day cannot be used in court. Every day, I feel like I failed her. Like I failed myself when I was 13 and Derby raped me. I feel like I failed, and it's not my fucking failure. It's Chris fucking Hansen's for being a pathological liar with an ego the size of the sun. I can never forgive this. I let it go for so long and considered it a loss and buried it deep down. In what fucking world can you look at the receipts of this 36-year-old man calling a 16-year-old girl over 30 times and not make it a fucking priority to help her? Chris Hansen doesn't fucking give a shit about the victims. He doesn't care. Anyone who says otherwise have either deluded themselves into thinking that or just doesn't know the entire story. Like, here's the thing, right? Chris Hansen lied to Ashlee that, oh yeah, he has connections to the FBI and that he's gonna help them. He's gonna help them, right? That's what she thought. That's what all the survivors thought. But that is not true. He didn't. He didn't help them. You know who did? You know who did help Ashlee and other survivors get in contact with the FBI? Yeah? You know who? Tamimi and Creepshow. What happened was Tamimi got some information about the Derby Vanity situation and thought that, hey, this is really serious and I need to report this to the proper authorities. And she reached out to Chris Hansen. And Chris Hansen just ghosted her. And it was when Tamimi was talking to Creepshow that she showed her how to get in touch with the FBI, how to send a tip to the FBI. And that did help the Derby Vanity survivors.
So to be clear, now there is an open case, but that is not exactly to any aid from Chris Hansen.
No, not at all. Tamimi, if Tamimi's still in the chat, Tamimi and Creepshow Art are the ones who found us our FBI agent. Like, we owe that to them. Like, without Tamimi and Shannon, we would not have the person that we have right now, who is amazing. And them and their partner have just been incredible. And we wouldn't have that because with Chris Hansen, we kept asking and asking when it was going to go farther and never got anywhere with it.
Now, because of them, we actually have an investigation into Derby Vanity. Otherwise, we wouldn't have it. Otherwise, that wouldn't be the case. And it's not the first time that something like this has happened. We all remember Onision, right? We all remember that Sarah had this laptop with proof that Kai sent her nudes, yeah? Oh yeah, that evidence is more or less now inadmissible in court because Chris Hansen, he doesn't care about the victims. He just doesn't care. He thinks of them as cash cow. And I'm not saying that because, oh, I think that making money is this bad and evil thing. No. I don't think that at all. I'm saying that because if you look at his actions, if you just take a look at the 3 actions that I mentioned right here, those actions only make sense if you take into account that he is receiving money. There's no other way that you can rationalize these actions. The only way that you can rationalize them is if you take money into account. Anyways, I went off topic there. And now, do you guys know what is happening with the Onision situation? Apparently, Chris Hansen pitched the idea of the Onision story to Investigation Discovery, and apparently they have started filming it or have already finished it. That is crazy. And I have talked about my stance on the Onision television thing. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good idea personally. However, I have said multiple times previously that, hey, if the survivors agree that, hey, this is what they want to do, fine. It's not up to me there, right? It's their decision. It's really up to them. Well, guess what? The survivors actually said no. They didn't want their trauma to be on national television. They said no. This is Lane talking about this. Further victimizing victims by taking their ability to say no to being on national television isn't caring about victims. Stephanie from Blackfin Media. Seeing that tweet pissed me the fuck off. You think that Chris didn't do this without asking the victims first, but nope, he asked. They clearly said no, and he still went behind their backs and did it anyways. Imagine watching and reacting to your friend's trauma like you're on fucking Teens React, all for a drop of clout. Disgusting. There is no right answer. If anyone doesn't want to be on television to talk about their trauma, that's fine. But it's also an opportunity to speak the truth and expose a predator on national television. But if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. And Haley responded to this by saying, "We were told that if no one wanted to be involved, we wouldn't have to. And Chris said to us verbatim that of course we wouldn't use your faces or stories if you didn't want to be in it. So why then is it that they are doing it anyways and having Regina react to it for the show? Is it even legal for him to use faces/stories of people who don't want to be involved and expressed that? It may be time to speak with a lawyer if you haven't already. Him making money off of stories that aren't his and aren't from consenting parties is seriously fucked." And Haley responded to that by saying, "Apparently because we didn't sign anything with Chris before our interviews almost a year ago, it's legal for him to use, quote, his content. Legality doesn't equal morality. He knew we didn't wanted this and did it anyways. Chris doesn't give a fuck about victims." Here's Billy talking about this. "Essentially because of those two, we are now either forced to do the show or just have them, the production team, run our stories however they'd like. And we'll use any footage they want. They already used a video of my face in it while recording with Regina. They left us with no say. This is not justice. This is just building trauma on top of already unresolved trauma, and it's fucked." Billy retweeted this as well. Basically, Regina and Shiloh went on television with Chris Hansen even though they knew the other girls didn't consent to Hansen sharing their stories on television. Like they legit sold off their friends and aired their trauma on television without their consent for clout. What Shiloh and Regina did is disgusting, period. LMAO, fuck this, fuck Regina, fuck fake bitches, fuck Shiloh too. Here's Ayala talking about this. "Chris Hansen and his team are pieces of shit for trying to pressure my friends onto national television. And when they said they didn't want their trauma on television, they decided they give zero fucks about survivors and how his actions affect them in the future. From us to you, go fuck yourself." So I think we all know what happened there. So, yeah. So first of all, Chris Hansen said to survivors that, hey, if you don't want your face or story to be used in the show, you don't have to. And then he decided to do that anyways. And I know a lot of people are currently focusing on Regina and Shiloh, and I do think that they are responsible. Like, you can see the survivors being hurt by their actions, and Regina has uploaded an apology as well on her Twitter. Uploaded an apology, wow, tweeted an apology, like no type of apology, you know. And I don't really know whether the survivors will accept that or not. I don't know. I do think that Regina and Shiloh are responsible here. However, the person who's most responsible isn't them. It isn't them. It's Chris Hansen who's most responsible here. So you see, it's not just that, oh, Chris Hansen doesn't care about the victims. Because yes, that is true. He doesn't care about the victims, but he uses them as cash cow for his series so that he could be back on television. And he cares about money more than survivors. I don't know, dude. I really don't know. In this situation, I really don't know what to say here, right? Like, Billie herself said here that, hey, because of them, we either have to do the show and have our traumas be televised, or they would just use any footage they want. And for Chris Hansen to put the survivors in that position is absolutely fucking terrible. Chris Hansen doesn't care. He just doesn't care. For first of all, Chris Hansen to botch the Onision investigation because of that laptop thing, but on top of that, saying to victims that, hey, if you don't want your stories to be aired on national television, we won't do that. We won't use your face. We won't use your story. And then to take your words back and use it anyways, and then re-traumatizing victims, wow, he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care about the survivors. All he cares about is money. Oh man, at this point, I just want him gone. At this point, I just want him gone off of YouTube. I don't want him here. And apparently that is actually a possibility because he has had a previous channel that did some things with copyright strikes or something. I don't remember exactly. And because of that, he is not allowed on YouTube anymore. So him creating the second channel that he has now created is actually against YouTube's terms of service. So technically that is possible, technically. But yeah, I really don't want him on YouTube anymore because it's clear that he doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He's just some guy who's pretending to have these connections with the FBI and the law enforcement when he really doesn't. He doesn't have those connections. And I mean, if he didn't have those connections, if he wasn't going to help the survivors, like for instance, Ashlee, if he's not going to help them get in touch with law enforcement because he doesn't have those connections, it's okay. It's fine. Why did you fucking lie about that? There's no reason for you to lie about that. Because first of all, you could be a channel, you could be a platform where survivors talk about their stories. And that would be great. That would be amazing. Like, seriously though, who hates Pastel Belle for doing that? No one. No one hates Pastel Belle for having survivors on to tell their story. No one hates her for that. Literally no one. So Chris Hansen didn't have to lie there. And second of all, you don't have to have connections with the FBI to just know to tell survivors, hey, if you want to get in touch with law enforcement, this is how you do it. Like, hey, you can submit a tip to the FBI or get in touch with law enforcement. And all you need to do is write out a statement or something. I think Ashlee and Mel talked about this in their live stream before. Yeah. And that's common information, right? He could do that. He could do that very easily. But nah. He had to fucking lie. He had to lie to the victims. He had to lie to everyone. And the only reason why he has the shred of credibility that he has is because of his previous work. So yeah, that's all that I have for this video. Like this video if you liked it. Comment your thoughts down below about what you think. Subscribe for more videos. Actually, I have a really good video planned. 2 videos about a particular influencer that is amazing. I have been literally doing research about that particular topic for about 2 weeks now. It's amazing. Anyways, subscribe if you want to see that. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. And please do not touch your face.